Hi everyone, and welcome to Words with DatOneLady.
Hi, guys, and welcome to today's episode of the podcast. Today, we have a guest who has been here before on the podcast. We'll have him again for the second time. Hi, guest. I'm asking you to introduce yourself a second time. I hope you don't mind.
Yeah, this TJ.
Okay.
Everyone.
All right, guys, we have TJ in the house again. If you remember our last episode on standards, he was with us and gave us a lot of wonderful germs and everything standards. So today, we're going to be discussing a very interesting topic. We're going to be discussing dating in our 30s. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. This is what I mean. Most of the 90s babies, and when I say 90s, everyone born in the 1990s, we are literally about 4 years to like maybe 3 years to 30 years old or to being 30 years old. And I must say that a lot of us are like worried, a lot of us are scared, especially those who are outside the country or outside Nigeria or outside their birth home, living by themselves and trying to make ends meet. There's a lot of like worry and pressure in this light, and people are like, oh my god, what's going on? Is dating harder when you're 30? Have I missed the one? And that's what we're going to be exploring today. So TJ, tell me, what do you think we're doing too much when we are worried about dating in our 30s?
No, I don't think. I think it's natural to, want to be stable, have stable relationships and all that in your 30s. So I think it's absolutely natural. It's expected.
It's expected that we're worried about dating in 30s, right?
No, not worried per se, but
Okay.
worried about having something solid, right?
Okay, yes, I
Yeah.
get that. Whew. Well, now let's take it one after the other. Is it really different dating in your 20s and dating in your 30s? Do you think it's different?
It is.
Oh my god, how what do you mean by it is different?
So what I mean it is different, right? Like if I'll be honest here, when I was 20 something, like when I
Yeah.
was, let's say 20 22 23,
Mm-hmm.
I used to feel like, you know what, at 22 23, like, if I'm dating someone, it doesn't really matter. Like, it doesn't matter if we don't end up getting married, right? Like, it doesn't
Mm.
matter,
Yeah.
maybe if the relationship doesn't work at 25, we reevaluate the relationship, we move on, or if it doesn't work, we go to the next. But when you're in your 30s, you really don't have that time to play around, right? You don't
Mm.
have that time to waste. So everything you're getting into, you want to be sure about it,
Yeah.
right? So that's what makes it a little bit tense, a little bit difficult, and puts that pressure, actually.
Yeah, well, yeah, but to be sincere, I feel like it's all just personal pressure. Like, well, no, I think there's also family and societal pressure that comes with, oh my God, you're 30 and you're
Mm-hmm.
wasting time, especially for the ladies. Like, the ladies are all like, there's this thought process that, well, not the thought process. Most ladies are like, I want to be married by 25. And I laugh because numerous ladies make this sentence. I want to be married by 25, have my first kid or have my kids before 27, and I'm relaxing and just enjoying the fruit of my labor, blah, blah, blah. But most times it does just not happen like that for a number of people. And there's this biological clock people worry about as well.
Exactly.
So it's like it's a whole thing. But you are very correct when you say when you were younger, your dating life is always like, yeah, I have time. And when you grow older, you're like, I need to be serious. But do you think that's a mentality that needs to be corrected, or is something that is just going to be like that?
For me, I think there shouldn't be any pressure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you should live your life, just to be ensure to be happy.
Mm.
Whether you're with someone, whether you don't have someone, the most important thing is being happy, right? Is being happy.
Yes.
Some people are in relationships and they are not happy,
Yeah.
and some people are not in relationships and they are happy,
True.
right? So in as much as we want to have relationships, we want to have something going, the most important thing is happiness, right?
Yes.
Am I happy in this stage of life that I'm in? I
Mm-hmm.
always tell people, live your life, like, be such a person that being with someone doesn't complete you but complements you.
Oh, that's so true. That's so true.
right? Like build yourself enough that being with someone only complements you.
Mm. That's important. That's a very, very, if there's nothing else, like I always say in all the episodes, if there's nothing else you should take today that in a dating life, or when you're dating, no matter what age you are, be so confident in yourself that being with someone will not just like be complementing who you are, but rather will not be completing who you are, but rather complementing who you are. That's a very, very important thing to say, because some people in relationships kind of lose themselves, and when that relationship is gone, it seems like the whole world is falling apart because they didn't really have a them. They didn't have themselves. They had them and that relationship that they had going together, pari pursue for them. So it becomes a difficult thing to be by all by themselves and going through life by themselves. But the thing is, this even saying this, like me personally, it's dating in a younger age was something that I think I knew what I wanted. I knew how I wanted it to be. But the biggest problem was two opposite ends trying to make things work. But eventually it always comes to the fact that, yeah, you wanted something that I did not want. But I keep asking myself, then why did I stay? That's another big thing. And I realized that most times we do that because we're trying to build a life based on what we know, and we're trying to just put people into it, not making sure that they actually fit into it. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah, I get
it's
you.
yeah, it's a thing where like growing up, like especially when we're getting to our 25s and 26, we're like, oh my God, I need to have a family already. So when they meet somebody, we're trying to be like, oh, he's like this, okay, maybe he would do this, maybe he would do that, and try to make sure they fit into it, not ensuring that it's okay if you're not seeing someone. It's okay if it's taking a long time to meet that person that suits the kind of person that you want or that fits into your values. And it's okay if it takes long. It doesn't mean that you have to say yes to anybody that comes, every time they can hire that comes your way. Another question that I will have going forward is, so the parental pressure that comes, the societal pressure that comes, how would you say people should deal with it?
I would say just ignore it,
Oh my
right?
God, it's hard.
I know it is. It is extremely hard, but you just have to build a thick skin, right? You just have to learn to ignore it and just focus on the things that work for you, right? Like you said, you don't want to be in a relationship because you don't want to be alone,
Yes.
right? And you're not getting anything out of that relationship. You're seeing it's headed nowhere, right? You'd rather be alone and happy than trying to get someone to be on the same page with you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, you're going to have a lot of family members asking questions. When is it, society looking at you and saying, oh, you're not married yet, or are you married? And then you're having to explain, oh, no, I'm not married yet, every time. But it
That's like
doesn't
a
matter.
regular question and so annoying.
I know, right? I get that all the time too. But it doesn't really matter because it's better you get it right, right? It's better you
Mm-hmm.
get it right one time than make a mistake. Like for me, I think the worst thing to do is to end up with someone and getting to realize that that person is not the one for you and having to go your separate ways, like
Oh,
in
that's
terms of
sad.
getting divorced, right? And
Yeah.
that's something I think most people need to consider. If it's not working, it's fine to say no. It's fine to leave.
Yeah, that's very true. Like to know that if it's not working. But the question is that I ask everybody that cares to listen, how do you know who the one is when you're growing older? Because when you start growing older, you I don't know if people really have check boxes, but you look at someone and you're like, okay, they fit this, they're like this, they're like this, they're like this. The question now is, how are we sure that even though they are all these things that you want, they're actually the one?
It's a very difficult one, right? And this is the part where we'll go a little bit spiritual,
Yeah.
all right? This is the part where we'll be a little bit spiritual. Like you just have to rely on the higher being up there to guide you and ensure that you're making the right decision. If
Now,
you if you're a Christian, you pray to God. If you're a Muslim, you pray to Allah. But you just need to have that conversation with the higher being up there.
yeah. And that's very important. Having conversation with the higher being, with God, if it's Allah, whatever you worship, trying to like, come to terms with the fact that this is the person I think is the one, but I need to confirm from the one who owns my life to ensure that his hand is in this, he also approves. But I've heard some people saying that there's nothing like the one. Is there really a the one? That's a question, a big question that people ask. Like, are you sure that there's one that is God has made for you, or is the higher power, higher being has made for you? What do you think about that?
I think there is, for me, I don't think, it's a very, that's a very interesting question, to be honest. Very, very
Mm-hmm.
interesting one. It's something I've thought about too, right? Because how I thought about it is, what if you miss the one,
Oh, that's so sad. Oh no, gosh,
right?
that's true.
So is it to say that you would never
Never
meet
find someone.
another the one, or that's just it, right?
Hmm.
But I think there is no the one. There is the kind of people you want to be with,
Mm-hmm.
right? Same thing like we talked about, based on your values. And
Yeah.
for me, I think it's very paramount that we look at who we need. Going back to the person complimenting you,
Mm.
I am someone that is very extravagant. I like to spend money.
Mm-hmm.
I want to end up with someone that pulls me back, someone that says, no, we don't have to spend that, someone
Ah.
that queries my finances. Do we really need that? Do you just want it, or do we need it?
Mm.
Right? So it's someone that balances, that checks that. So where you have weaknesses, let that person have the strength. And where the person has weaknesses, let you be the strength. Right?
Mm.
So that's what you actually need. Right? So I know, we look at many other factors, but I also think it's important that we, in selecting who the one is, we look at the things that really matter to us in terms of our own personality.
Yeah.
And that's why, if we go back to say, if you miss the one, is it possible to get another one?
Hmm.
Yes, it's possible.
My mom would say that if God has ordained someone for you, because he's God, he would make sure that you both end up together. That's what my mom would say. Because and she's very, very spiritual, she's very Christian oriented, and she loves her God, loves her Bible. And she would always say that she would give me a history of how her marriage happened with my dad, and say that even though they were in different parts of the country, God still made it that they ended up together, even though she had said, she had been seeing dreams and all those things, and there were other people that were surrounding him, but he knew what he wanted, and he knew that she was the one, and things happened, and everything worked out, and they got together and they got married. So my mom would always say, when somebody God has destined that this person is the one for you, no matter how far apart you guys are, no matter how it feels like you missed each other, God will bring both of you back together one way or the other and make it be that you end up together. But the truth is, even she has also told me before that even if you miss that person, or if you decide and stubbornly say you don't want, and you go ahead and do your own thing, that you'll be ready to bear the consequences. Now, I don't mean to go all spiritual on everybody who's listening right now, but the truth is, following what TJ has said, that you should be very, very in tune with yourself, with what you want. Sorry, with what you need and not what you want, so that you are able to align this with when you're meeting people or getting to know who you want to end up with and all that good stuff. Now, if you believe in God and you know what you understand with meeting people and getting to relationships as it relates to your godly values and all of that, then maybe there is I don't know if there's the one, but I feel like there's someone that is out there, or there are people who are out there that is ordained by God for us. But it's just so confusing for me sometimes. But all I would say is, please, guys, like whoever, like if you are meeting people out there, make sure that their values are aligning with you. Make sure you know what you want in the person, and you're able to mirror that to what to who this person is, and not just go with the flow of societal values. But like, it's so confusing when you know what you want, and you know what, like you're Christian, and you're trying to mirror those things together. Like, and that's why some people would say Christians take longer to get married. Now, please don't come for me, anyone, because we're waiting for the one. Like, I don't know. Like, even I myself, I'm like, I don't know what is what anymore. But all I know is I'm just hoping on God and just praying I don't do the wrong thing. Like, meaning like meet the wrong person, I end up with the wrong person. But that being said, do you think we should be living in fear when we're getting to our 30s?
No, we shouldn't.
Okay.
We should enjoy the process, right?
Ah,
Enjoy the
okay.
process while at it, while waiting for the one. Enjoy the process. Make good friends. Enjoy being alone. Enjoy your time. You know what? Sometimes I tell people, I say, you're going to be living with someone forever.
I know.
You're like, if you're in a relationship, you're mad, you know what, you leave, or
And go home.
you just go home, you go to your
Yeah.
own place, and you steam out, right? When you're married, you're going to be living with the same person in the same house forever. You're not going anywhere. If you're mad, you settle it. Whatever
That's
goes
so
on, you'd
true.
you'd fix it, right?
Yeah.
So enjoy your me time. You would not have it. It's not going to be there ever again. So
Oh my
while
God.
you're alone, really enjoy that me time. There are a lot of things as an individual or as a single person that you need to achieve. You need to map out your life. You need to look at the things you can achieve as a single person, because once you get married, there's so many things you will not be able to do. I'm not saying, spouses stop people from doing stuff, but
Yeah.
you would be so burdened with extra responsibilities that you might not be able to do those things. So you really need to enjoy this period, enjoy this time, and do the things you need to do, achieve some things you need to achieve, and don't even bother about what, the pressure, what society thinks should be of you at this age. You definitely meet the right person, and you definitely end up with the one.
Oh, that's a very, very nice sentence that you put. That's so true. So to all my 90 babies out there who are getting older and are beginning to see the 30s that are forthcoming, they're like a couple of years away, and you're like, oh my God, I've not met the one. I'm not in that relationship yet. Hey, relax, breathe. Like I always say in most of my episodes, breathe, enjoy your now, enjoy this singleness, enjoy what you're doing now, focus on yourself. What's that thing you want to get done? That degree you want to get done, get it. That car you want to buy, get it. That house you want to buy it. Whatever that job you want to get, go out there and get that job. Those places you want to travel to, go ahead and go to those places. Those things you want to do for your family, go ahead and do
Do
them.
those things you
Get
want to
those
learn them. Anything you want to
exactly.
do,
Get to
just
do
do
it.
them.
Exactly, because your 30s are fast coming. The man, if you want to, now I always say this, if you want to end up married, it's going to happen as long as you put yourself in the right places and the right situations. It would happen, but do not lose yourself and do not rush your singleness. Do not like be overly jumpy. Now take it from someone who also gets very antsy sometimes. I'm like, sometimes I talk to my friend and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. We're getting older and we're still single. And I'm like, I call myself back and I'm like, hey, breathe. It's part of it. It's okay for you to feel that way. It's okay for you to freak out, but remember that you should focus on you and be you and enjoy you right now, because when that time comes, like TJ already said, like it would happen. Like you get married, you'll be happy, things will happen for you. But this alone time you have now, you might not have them again. Might not. Underline the word might, because people say that it's not good for you to be married and not have your own me time. But the thing is, people forget that it wouldn't be as much as when you were single and had no responsibilities. So yeah.
Exactly.
So if you didn't take anything from today, just take that one lady and TJ said, enjoy your now,
Enjoy
enjoy
now.
it.
Exactly.
Take time, just be you. Travel, hang out with your friends, do things you always wanted to do. There's a friend of mine that would always say, when you ask her, do you want to do this? She'll be like, no, when I'm married, I would do it. Do you want to do that? And like, when I'm married, and we would do it. Myself and other friends would scream at her and be like, hey, relax. Marriage will come, right? Whatever you want to do right now, just do it and stop being a really ridiculous person of saying, I'll do it when I'm married. Like, seriously, what if you get married and you don't have time to do those things? Like, what would you do then? So yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, guys, that's like the crux of all that we've said today. But before we go, TJ, do you have any other thing you want to say to people that are listening right now who are almost in their 30s? Because this is specifically for them.
Yeah. So for those that are pushing 30, I'll just say, don't sweat it. Just learn the things you need to, like, do the things that excite you at this stage. Just enjoy this time. Focus on the things you want to focus on, in terms of, like, if you want to learn how to cook, if you want to learn how to do certain things, just take your time, learn those things. If you want to get an extra degree, if you want to change jobs, if you want to change cities, like, this is the time. When you're married, decision making becomes tougher, because it's not just
Yeah.
you, it's
Yeah.
you and someone else, right? So this is the time you can make any decision you want to make as a single person. So
Yeah.
enjoy that time and just build yourself. Sometimes I look at marriage like a puzzle. It's
Mm,
like one person has his own puzzle, the other person has our own puzzle, and you're trying to complete your puzzle. I feel like when your puzzle is complete, you guys will align and, get together. So it's more like see yourself as trying to complete your puzzle, trying to build yourself to that level where, you're just ready for the next person, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I see it sometimes, right? And just, enjoy the time. That's what I say.
That's very important. And guys, in case you did not know, 30 is not a death sentence. 30 is not a time where you are abandoned. No, it's just another number, but rather you're moving from the 2s to the 3s. It's totally okay. It's just like when you move from the teens to the 20s.
To the 20s, exactly.
Like, just relax. Like, and I'm talking to myself as well, guys. Don't think I'm just saying it because, I've passed that level. Nope, I have not. Like, the same thing goes for those in 30s going to the 40s. Like, breathe. It's
just
number.
A number.
Just make sure that in all the stages of your life, you're getting things you want to get done. And if you're still single and not married yet, and you are in your 20s and you are almost in the 30s and you're beginning to worry, do not worry. When you worry, you take out the time you're supposed to be used to doing things that are meaningful to yourself and give it up for worrying. And don't forget, time waits for no one, and every time that is lost sometimes cannot be gotten back. So try as much as possible to make the best of this time. And yeah, that's all for the episode today. Thank you so much, TJ, for joining us on this episode. We are
Thank you so much
for you sharing with us from all your wisdom. We appreciate it. And we hope that you join us some other time for another episode.
No problem.
All right.
No problem. Alrighty. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful one.
Thank you very much, TJ. Have a wonderful one, guys.
Thank you so much, guys, for listening to today's episode of the podcast. I really hope you enjoyed it. Remember, you can always share this episode to your friends and families, and your friends and followers on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, or whatever social media page that you use. If you enjoyed this episode, please do well to follow the podcast on whatever app you're listening to right now, so that you can get a notification when I upload a new episode. Don't forget, you can also follow the podcast on Instagram at DatOneLady, which is DatOneLady. If you have any questions or suggestions for an episode, please send me an email at DatOneLady@gmail.com, which also is DatOneLady@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening once again. Until next time, remember to keep living, keep loving, and ensure you're living your truth. Have a great day, guys, and bye.